Hello, everyone. You know what I'm saying? It's me, Alice Music. Welcome to my political life video blog. Let's get this show on the road, shall we? Because we don't have a lot of time to do this because I got 11 minutes to kill time. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Anyways, according to this one from theblaze.com, it has a released new study from Harvard University. Because you know why? Because Tucker Carlson trash. That's right. Trashes, you guessed it. You know I bet it's he'll trashes the mainstream media. Thank you. In his monologue. Because before I play this soundbite, here's why. According to the new study from Harvard University, that it confirms that President Trump and his supporters inside and the White House have been saying for months. So that is why Harvard Kennedy School's Shorenstein Center on Media, Politics, and Public Policy, because it overwhelms the majority of this press conference. In the opening months of the Trump presidency has been negative. But in the fact, the study has been found that in the first 100 days of the Trump presidency, what about 80%? Yeah, you guessed it. Of the news coverage, leading all those sources like the New York Times, Washington Post, and so is MSNBC. Yeah, that's right, MSNBC. All the way up to CNN, the liberal, and just remember that, as I said, because like I said years ago on my radio show, because journalism is dead. DEAD, dead. For once. That's 80% of those news coverages inside those leading news sources being negative, and what about only 20% was positive. And this is more significant than Trump's three predecessors. Yeah, one, President Obama, yeah, remember that, George W. Bush, and what about Bill Clinton? As far as we're concerned, three predecessors who received 41%. What about 57% about this one? And the 60% are being negative by the press in their opening months as president, according to this study. Listen to this from. I want you to listen to this from Tucker Carlson, because his monologue is dead on. Right, dead on. And why? Right, dead on, because everybody else can be civilized about this one. Listen to this from Tucker Carlson, and see what I'm talking about. Talk about right now. So just listen to this. Listen to this part.
Media are liberal. If you grew up in this country, you probably have known that for quite a while. It's obvious in the stories they choose, and maybe even more evident in the ones they ignore. About the only people who deny widespread media bias these days are the people who are directly benefiting from it. And that would include progressive activists posing as reporters and Democratic politicians whose water they carry. Exactly how liberal and how biased is the press? For the answer to that, we'd have to go to social science. And now, for the first time in a while, we actually have some real data.
So the three things are, progressives are, priceless. Those progressives are being priceless. What do we ever learn about the progressives? Because progressives are no good for any other reasons. Go on.
A study from researchers at Harvard University looked at 10 major news outlets and found the overwhelming majority of their coverage of the new administration's first 100 days was hostile. At CNN and NBC, both purportedly straight news outlets, 93% of the stories were negative.
See what I'm talking about?
Remarkable, considering that there's no way that 93% of their stories about, I don't know, pick someone, Fidel Castro, were negative. 93% is a lot. In fact, it's not really news coverage at that point, it's advocacy. So the press doesn't like Trump. We knew that. But it's not just
really?
Trump. It's the issues
Really?
that Trump's voters favor. The media disagree with those too, and they skew their coverage accordingly. Take immigration, for example. Now, there are many sides to that issue, but most Americans believe it ought to be illegal to come to our country without permission. That's why the Congress has made it illegal. But that's not what the people who work in the media think. They believe that defending the border is an act of bigotry, and so that's how they have portrayed it, with no other side represented at all, most of the time. The Harvard study found that of stories on Trump's immigration policies, fully 96% were negative. There was more diversity in the Romanian media under Ceausescu.
You get this 96%.
Now, if you've read a newspaper lately, you've seen it. Here's the New York Times, for example. Immigrants hide, fearing capture on any corner.
Really, huh? You can't hide. You can run, but you can't hide. For now. Go.
The LA Times. Trump's crackdown sparks fear and anger among immigrants here illegally.
That's
and
hysterical.
Of course, America's least honest newspaper, the Washington Post, which wrote in a headline, immigrants are now canceling their food stamps for fear that Trump will deport them.
So, quote this lyrical quote from the Cars back in the 80s, because you might think it's so hysterical. You might think that the hysterical newspaper headlines or the news networks of the whole universal liberal media bias special people buffoon smurf idiots. That's, you know why? Because they can they don't even care. They can care less. They can care less because hysterical is a wishy-washy world. And like I said, President Trump is right. Dead on. Fake news is ridiculous. Go.
Where are the stories about Americans hurt by illegal immigration? We'd have to wait an awful long time to see those. There aren't any, if any. If anything, most television news is even more distorted than this.
President Trump drew an X today through the welcoming words of the nearby Statue of Liberty.
Oh, Scott Pelley. Statue of Liberty has nothing to do with it. This is the Statue of Liberty of New York City. You are so wishy-washy, Scott Pelley.
Has always trafficked in fear-mongering.
Fareed.
This time, to stoke those fears and present himself as the country's protector, he chose to punish ordinary men, women, and children who are fleeing terrorism and violence.
That's what you think. That's what you think, Fareed Zakira GPS. That's what you think. And what comes next on the list of things? Listen to this.
Just a proposal, but already immigration attorneys are telling me it's harsh and un-American.
What? Here's your final answer. Here's your final answer. This is what you think. This is what hysterical. That really bugs me. This is your hysterical world of your own darn life. The New York Times, the LA Times, the Washington Post, ABC, NBC, CNN, all that. This is what you think. Now, with all this hocus pocus, liberal media, bias, pressure, people, buffoons, smurfs are trash. And it's such a mess at all times. And like I said, it's news with a message at its core. And it's just like the political campaign. And any which way we lose about this one, because you might think it's so hysterical, and that is ridiculous. Because Trump and top White House staffers urged the press for months to focus on positive stories. Not, yeah, that's right, not fake news, but positive stories. And fake news is not allowed. Sorry, fake news is not allowed to do this. And why? Because the legislative accomplishments of the Trump administration and the press, however, unrelenting in their negative coverage. According to this Harvard study, as far as we concern, and that is why, but it's not just Trump the media dislikes. That's why it also is the issues that Trump stands for, and the issues for American voters who supported this November presidential election, that the media is trying to be disdained. That means the liberal media, by special people, buffoons, smurfs, have no agenda. They have no audience at all. They have nothing else, can be civilized, and now you know the rest of the darn story. The moral story of the moral story of my Political Life video blog story is this, as we close this out from Tucker Carlson.
Un-American. Well, that's news with a message at its core, just like in a political campaign, which in many ways is exactly what this is.
Like I said, that's, you see? You liberal media bias, special people, buffoon, yeah, that's right, liberal media bias, special people, buffoon, smurfs, you're gonna get a spanking for what you've done. And that's why Tucker Carlson crushes all of you liberal media bias, progressive, pressure people, buffoon, smurfs, for doing something stupid to President Trump. And I don't like that at all. Clean up your mess and get the hell out of here. Am I making myself clear? You liberal media bias, pressure people, progressive, buffoon, smurfs. Good. Get out of here and hit the road. Thank you, Ray Charles, for this one. Anyways, take that, you liberal media bias, pressure people, buffoons, and you're. Anyways, that's my Political Life video blog story. And I'm sticking to it. Thank you, Tucker Carlson. You're the best.